You are listening to the Coins, Currency, and American History podcast, presented by Littleton Coin Company.
Every great civilization leaves behind its ruins, its art, and its heroes. But the story of America can be told through something smaller, something we can hold in our hands. A coin. Coins are the fingerprints of a nation. This is the story of the United States of America. From colonies to social experiment to global economic leader. The year is 1790. The United States is brand new, fragile, loud, full of hope, but also full of arguments. And at the center of those arguments stand two men who cannot see the future the same way. Alexander Hamilton, Thomas Jefferson. Two founders, two visions, one nation caught in between. Their rivalry is the first great divide in American politics. But beneath all the newspaper attacks and cabinet shouting matches, the fight comes down to one central question. How should America live the ideals it fought for? To understand that question, we start with something small enough to fit in your pocket. A coin. Both men believed in the ideals of the Revolution. Liberty, independence, self-government. Hamilton believed those ideals needed strong national systems. Jefferson believed those ideals needed protection from strong national systems. Hamilton looked at the chaos of the 1780s and thought, we need structure. Jefferson looked at the history of Europe and felt, structure always turns into chains. Their conflict would explode over Hamilton's ambitious plan for a national bank. In 1791, he proposed a central bank that would build credit, stabilize the economy, and give American money weight in the world. Jefferson hated it. To him, this looked too much like Britain, too much like concentrated power, too much like the first step back toward monarchy. So the nation argued, and while that argument was raging, something else happened that turned their ideals into metal. Right on the heels of Hamilton's financial plan, in 1792, Congress created the United States Mint. For the first time, Americans would carry coins that were truly their own. One of the most striking was the early large cent. It was a thick copper disc, nearly the size of a modern $50, with the head of liberty on one side and a simple wreath on the other. No king, no crown, no royal coat of arms, just a young republic striking liberty directly into their coinage. The design was simple on purpose. Liberty's face was unadorned. The wreath was modest. These coins were not about wealth. They were about identity. They were the revolution turned into something you could hold in your hand. Hamilton and Jefferson both believed in what that coin represented. They agreed on the ideals stamped into the copper. What they could not agree on was what kind of country you needed to make that coin mean something. Hamilton believed a coin was only as strong as the system behind it. A symbol is powerful, but it cannot pay soldiers, build ships, or fund roads. So he argued for a strong federal government, a unified economy, and a national bank at the center of it all. The bank, in his mind, was the backbone of the country. It would give the United States credit, support trade, and allow America to stand alongside older empires as an equal. His logic was simple. Ideals need infrastructure. Without a system, the coin is just copper. Jefferson saw the same coin and drew a different conclusion. To him, the danger was not of a weak system. The danger was a system that became too strong. He believed in a nation of small farmers, local control, and limited federal power. When he looked at Hamilton's bank, he saw a road back to everything Americans had just rejected: centralized power, financial elites, government that served money instead of people. His logic was just as simple. Systems become chains. Protect the ideals from the system. So when Hamilton pushed for the bank, Jefferson pushed back with everything he had. In 1791, President Washington sided with Hamilton. The national bank became law. This decision defined the decade. The United States now had a financial system capable of supporting growth and stability. But the cost was a deeper political divide. Jefferson and his allies saw the bank as proof that Hamilton's vision was winning, that the new nation was drifting toward the very model it had claimed to reject. The coin represented ideals. The bank represented the fight over how to live them. In 1800, the people chose. Jefferson won the presidency in what he called the Revolution of 1800. The first peaceful transfer of power between rival political factions in American history. He believed his victory restored the spirit of the Revolution, a return to simplicity and limited power. But then, something surprising happened. He kept Hamilton's bank. He kept the national financial system he once opposed. Jefferson realized something important. The ideals on the coin mattered more than the argument, and to protect those ideals, the country needed more than passion. It needed systems that actually worked. Hamilton built the structure. Jefferson helped keep that structure accountable to the ideals. The United States did not ultimately choose Hamilton over Jefferson or Jefferson over Hamilton. It chose the ideals struck on that large copper coin, and then spent generations arguing about the best way to build systems that would protect those ideals. The coin represented who Americans believed they were. The bank represented how they would survive in the world. That tension between ideals and systems is still with us. And it began with two founders, one coin, and a young nation trying to decide how to live its promise. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Coins, Currency, and American History podcast presented by Littleton Coin Company. You can find out more about coins and currency in our free Learn Center at www.littletoncoin.com/learn. It's filled with fascinating facts about U.S. coins, world coins, ancient coins, paper money, and more, as well as helpful tips for collectors of all levels. You'll even find free collector guides, checklists, and virtual albums to help you get started and keep track of your growing collection. And while you're there, be sure to check out our online store. Visit www.littletoncoin.com today.